Hey, I'm finally doing this video! I've been kind of putting it off because I'm not a fan of being in front of a screen talking. It feels really unnatural to me, so just bear with me as I weasel my way through this. So while I'm here, I wanted to talk to you guys about my health and what's going on with that. Few of you know my recent hoopla out at the Moab Trail Marathon Championships back in November. Didn't go well. I was a complete hot mess. I was extremely sick and out of it, and what resulted in me being so out of it, I slipped and hit my head and had a concussion and had to be sent to urgent care, all that fun stuff. I will go into more details about that, but that is just a piece about a piece of what's been going on with my health. So it's just part of the story. And why I'm not plant-based anymore, / vegan / no meat athlete. And you know, I'll probably get just a variety of different reactions to this. I know there's a lot of vegetarians and vegans and plant-based eaters out there, but you know, I'm here to talk about my own personal journey, my own diet testimony. So you know, I'm here to talk. I love talking about diet related things, healing with food, bettering yourself through food. So this has always been a big passion of mine, so I'm here to talk and with whatever questions or any conversations you want to have about this. But right now, this is me sharing this journey through, so before you decide to dislike this video, just watch this and just listen and enjoy. So looking back, I have never been a meat eater. I've always been the crazy vegetable kid, the weird vegetable kid, really quirky at family and friend occasions. I would eat the meat mostly once in a while, mostly because I didn't want to upset anybody, but if I could, I would not eat it. I was always a big vegetable lover my family would always put on these really amazing Christmas parties, giant buffet of every delicious food imaginable, but I was that weird kid underneath the table eating carrot sticks. I was 6 years old, I should have been shin deep in the Cool Whip. But no, I had the veggie tray and I would carry it back to my room and just read books and just eat veggies. So my parents, we had meat in our dishes quite often, but my mom was usually pretty quick to make my own without the meat. Or we would have, when I can think back on history or just family moments, we would have Friday night nacho nights and watch movies, eat a big pile of nachos together. It was a lot of fun, but there's always one little corner, it's called the Anya's corner, where there's no meat on it. So what you're starting to get here is I was not a big meat eater. So kind of fast forwarding through my life forward, and also too, I had a really wonderful experience as a kid. We grew up on 10 acres of wooded property. I grew up on 10 acres of wooded property. I was an only child until I was 14 years old, until my family decided to surprise me with an amazing sister. But you know, as a solo kid then, playing out in the woods, being barefoot and naked all the time. My dad grew this big, beautiful acre garden. We lived off the well, so really good, clean water. I just had the classic childhood dream. For me, at least, I loved it. It was an adventure. So what I'm telling you is I had a really healthy childhood. So there was nothing that there was no red flags as to why other things turned out to where they did. So this is just the background on that. So even though I had a very healthy diet and just a lovely childhood, wonderful family, wonderful friends, a lot of love, very close-knit, but in the meantime, I had a lot of mental health problems. So even as a little kid, I was very depressed, very melancholic. I even had a lot of anxiety problems. I wasn't diagnosed with anxiety, but I remember having a lot of panic attacks, and I shouldn't think. So later on, I was diagnosed with depression. So in middle school, as well as I was getting into high school, things were starting to progress more and more mentally. I just felt off and ill, and I had a lot of just really odd, unnatural mental instability, and actually got diagnosed 2 more times with schizophrenia. So depression, schizophrenia, which is a big deal, and then as well as later got kind of diagnosed, not actually at the doctor's office, but by a doctor. He said, oh, you look like you probably have bipolar as well, and anxiety disorders. So like, where is this coming from? There's no family history of this in our genetic makeup, and usually a lot of these things are caused by massive trauma, but as far as I can see, there wasn't really any trauma in my life. And so why I went so, I guess, off the deep end to the other side, to where I'm having these schizophrenic I guess attacks, and then as well as later on even becoming suicidal. So my mental health, looking back on my history all since I was a kid, has never been great. So that's that other backstory. So I'm just trying to fill you all in. Like, I had a wonderful childhood, had the most colorful diet, most loving family, played out in the woods. This is a good life. My family, just a bunch of artists. We're all about, you know, being imaginative and exploring. So it was a dream come true type of life for most kids. So anyway, so I had that side of me, but then I had the mental sickness side of me. So all through high school, I really struggled with this. I also had some learning disabilities. And once I hit high school, I would eat meat intermittently, but I then decided to be more active on it, and so I did call myself a vegetarian, and it was partially for the ethical side of it. I mean, I wasn't a big like meat eater. I didn't crave it or tastefully crave it. It wasn't something that like steak, but it was also, there's the ethical side of it. I wanted nothing to do with factory farming animals, and not eating meat was a way for me to protest that and have a political stance on that. So all through high school as well, you know, was not a meat eater. I would do bouts of veganism. I would probably go like a few months here, and then I would have some cheese or some dairy. So I definitely wouldn't say that I was a vegan, but I would definitely say I was living that vegan lifestyle. Very political, very outspoken and opinionated on all things animal life and well-being. Personally, I don't believe that animals are sentient like human beings, but they are a life being, and they require the respect and care because they are living creatures. And so, oddly, even though I was a vegetarian, I wasn't anti supporting local farming and the free range, grass-fed, the local farms within our area, within our communities. I was still all for that, but because I wanted to take more of a political stance. I felt like I needed to go the extreme and cut animal products out of my diet. So that's the route that went. I went to culinary school. That was my first career path choice. As an artist, I wanted to find a way how to make a living as an artist, and so culinary seemed like the right way to go. But that also was when my mental health was really deteriorating, and as well as physically. Like, I developed a lot of, let's say I had some eating disorders, a lot of body dysmorphia problems. And so not only was I not eating, for me, a well-balanced diet, I was eating a very small amount of calories. And I started developing tremors really bad. And even my chefs there they knew I was a vegetarian, and they, really challenged me and said, is this a good thing? Is this something that's doing your body a service? And I truly believed it was. And so I ignored them, kept doing what I was doing, but unfortunately it led to some big mental health collapse, a lot of other I did attempt to commit suicide. So at that point, I was just at the lowest of the low you can go. And I had to make a big life change. And so started a new career path as a massage therapist. At the same time, I was really getting into running. And so I felt like, wow, this brand new world is out in front of me. There's just a lot, or different experiences, and started off, especially in the beginning of my running career, it went really, really well. Partially, I was probably just really excited about this new sport I discovered, and did more of the shorter distances, the 5Ks, a lot of the track. Even though I didn't run in high school, it was more to stay in shape, but I didn't do anything competitive in the running world until I was probably about 22. And I felt like I was doing really well. And I had some amazing 5K and 10K times, and actually thought, like, wow, if I really were to focus on this, maybe I could go to the Olympic trials. Because at that time, like, I got a 16:24 5K on the track, and where it was just barely into this running world. And so I was just really excited, a lot of new things, a lot of big exciting things. So that definitely helped kind of pump my mental esteem back up, and I knew also I had to eat better if I want to be a good athlete. So I do believe running was one of the probably the one thing that pulled me out of the eating disorder then, because I knew if I wanted to be good, I had to get calories in my body. But I was still strictly vegetarian at the time, and very, very much plant-based. So, and when I say vegetarian, I'm also saying, like, I was very much plant-based in everything, eating a massive variety of just all the colors of the rainbow in my diet, emphasizing as many nutrients as I can. So after I graduated the massage program, I moved over to Bellevue, Washington, to start kind of my new little life over there. I wanted kind of a clean slate from all my happenings in Spokane. So I get over there and get really big into the running communities. I even become a running form coach through a store over there, as well as starting up my massage. So just really big, exciting things were happening. And so yeah, at that point things were good. I was kind of in that denial process of what had happened in the past mentally. So I compartmentalized all of that, pushed it to the back, and just really focused on this new big adventure. So and when I say, you know, moved over to Bellevue, this was about 8 years ago that I moved over to Bellevue. So I ended up being over there for about 4 years before I actually moved back to Spokane. And at that time, you know, things were going great, but mentally I was pretty stable, but my body was physically starting to deteriorate. And I had no idea why. I did everything I could, learned everything I could, spoke with nutritionalists, did different therapies, stuff like that. But I could tell like there was something a little bit off. And at that time, I was starting to switch over into the longer distances, got introduced to the trail running world, and I thought, wow, this is cool. And especially as a kid growing up in the woods, running out on trails was the ultimate, felt like the ultimate sport. I had no idea that trail running was a thing until literally like 7 years ago. So I got into that world, and then I hear about the world of ultras, and so yay, more exciting things. But then at the same time, my body is deteriorating. And I also, you know, took that as, well, you know, I'm running way more miles than I ever have. So that was my excuse to why I was not feeling like a human being. So getting into the world of trail running, did a few, you know, amazing trail races. Got into, my first trail race was a 25K. What was really funny, coming from the road scene, I had no idea how these things work, so I just show up in like my racing singlet and road running shoes, and it's funny to be in this pack of people, and everybody has these little handheld water bottles or water packs, and I had nothing. I was the only person that didn't have any water on me, because I was here. I was like, well, there's an aid station every mile and a half, so anyways, that surprised me later on, but it was all good. It was a lot of fun. And that day I fell in love with trail running. So yeah, so I was just like head first into the world of trail, really, really excited, and thought, you know, I'm gonna take my competitive mindset, the whole Olympic trials with the 5K, I was like, yeah, not doing that anymore. Well, especially since I was getting in the upper 20s, it's like, you know, I probably will start slowing down a little bit, who knows, but I thought, I am in love with the trail world. I want to take my competitive mentality and just kill it in this trail world. So as I was learning to become more competitive, like my brain was all in, but my body was not, and it was getting to the point where I just was not really recovering properly anymore. And I thought, how are these 60, 70-year-olds still killing it out on the trail? Like, I was thinking like, hey, you know, I'm almost 30. This is probably why, you know, things aren't recovering as well. But that felt like it was just an excuse or a cover up or something that was deeper. But I had no idea why. I felt like a 90-year-old trying to get out the door on my runs. So anyways, now I had moved back to Spokane and really getting more into the running communities there. But at the same time, like, my mental health was starting to, you know, catch back up with me and overflowing out of the little compartment that I put it in a couple years before. And my body was just kind of, same thing, just progressively getting worse and worse by by the month, every couple of months, it just something felt even a little bit more off. Nothing super extreme, but I could tell like I would just be so frustrated because I would just train like some of these top runners, great mileage, high mileage. I'm very, very motivated. I will do all my workouts. And I would just, and then, yeah, I would just break down. And it was nothing mental. I felt like I've always had that drive, but I just would break down. My body would just get to a point and it would stop, like, yeah, it would just, it felt almost like the circulation of my body was just, it would come to a halt in some races. And, you know, they would say, yeah, you're just bonking or you just hit the wall. It's like, yeah. But I would expect when you hit the wall, it's more of a mental thing. Like you're mentally like, I can't do this anymore. Why do I do this? I hate my life. It's more like, no, I'm having fun mentally. I could do this all year long, nonstop. But my body, it just won't. Like, it's not even in pain. It just won't move forward. So a lot of massive question marks, and I'm reading all these books about different ultra athletes, all their training tactics, diets, everything, trying to figure out what's going on. So back to my plant-based diet, I was experimenting the heck out with that. You know, I would try the high-fat vegan diet, which worked probably the best. I felt like I would recover well, I would sleep pretty good, but the only thing was I had no energy to get out the door. And then the other side, I would try the high carb vegan, plant-based, and I could get out the door on my runs, but then I wouldn't recover. And then I would just, mix with more of the high protein, there's better recovery, but now I'm gaining a little bit of weight. This is really weird. And so I'm trying to combine all of these, and I would be really sluggish still, and my gut was always in a lot of pain, really bloated, and nothing would stay down. I became like the butt of the jokes, like how hard is Anya gonna get until she's going to puke everywhere. So yeah, so I couldn't figure out, like I thought, and when I tried these different diets, it's not like I would do them for a few days here and it's not working, but no, I would be really strict on the high fat or do the paleo vegan and stay there for like a couple months, and then it's like I'm still feeling like garbage, and so I'd switch to the other end. I'm still feeling like garbage. Yeah, it made no sense, and I had a few different vegan mentors or dietitians who were vegan, and it's like, or even just people in general who are very strict in the vegan plant-based diet, and I would ask them every question. It's like, tell me what's going on with me. And it was very common. This was the thing that I got all the time, was that I have a lot of toxins in my body. And why I feel like crap is because my body's trying to release these toxins. So, and I would, I would believe that and be like, okay, you've been doing this a long time. I will trust you in this, which is just complete garbage. I question the heck out of it too, because it's like, how can I have toxins? I lived out in the boonies, in the woods as a kid. I had a loving family. I, ate as organic as you could get, local, right out of our backyard. I drank from a well, like no trauma. Like, what are you talking about, toxins? And I was so discouraged, because it's like, I've been feeling like garbage for years and years and years and years, and it's gradually getting worse. So it's like, where are these toxins coming from? And will they ever get out of my body? And so I felt like I was also kind of a hypochondriac. Could never say that word. But I was like a phobe to, you know, it's like, oh, I'm hurting, it, like this little part of my pinky is hurting, oh, the toxins in my body. Or, oh, my eye is flickering, oh, the toxins in my body. And so it was just so asinine and over the top. I was so focused on it, and it was almost like my brain was so wrapped around what I was eating, what I was putting in my body, just to the extreme. It was just, it became an obsession, which I think it's a whole other eating disorder, to be honest, where I was at. And and then, yes, so I had the vegans who said my body was loaded up with toxins, and then I had the other vegans that said, you know, I'm deficient in vitamins and minerals, and I need to be taking this, and that. And I was taking all of this. To be honest, I was spending probably $200 to $300 a month on supplements. I would try this said supplement, or this type, like iron, for example. I would try this iron for months. I wouldn't get any results, so I would try a different. So I was constantly trying different brands, different ways, taking the iron at certain times of the days with certain foods, getting things absorbed as, you know, properly or as properly as I could. B complex, you know, I did the injections, I did the mouth sprays. I would feel great for 24 hours. And then I would go back to feeling like garbage. And so then it would come back to the toxins in my body. But it's like, so I'm spending all this money on supplements, which the irony of it, it's like, you know, the classic vegan plant-based mentality is, you know, being clean, having, you know, cleaning up your diet, grounding yourself, becoming the healthiest you can be. But these supplements are synthetic. They aren't even really meant to be digested by human bodies. They're chemical, they're made in laboratories by big pharma. So you've got like the one side, you're wanting to be, you know, you want to have that small footprint. You don't want to support the big companies, but then it's like, well, you're so deficient, so you're taking these supplements, but it's also supporting all this and that, so there's a bit of hypocrisy there. So anyways, so what I'm getting at is I tried everything I could, and I was still progressively getting worse and worse and worse. And so now we're gonna fast forward to about 2 years ago. There's a little bit of, I was blaming the stress of being a newlywed, which I'm not gonna say that wasn't. I mean, you know, just little stress, those stresses in life can add to your physical well-being. So absolutely, but I should not have been deteriorating like I was. And I felt like I was being overly dramatic, and a lot of people were even saying that I was being overly dramatic, because I would just be like, you know, after a race or mid-race, it's like I would tell people, it's like, I'm dying. I'm literally dying. And it's like, you're not dying, Anya. You're just, get out of your head. You're fine. What are you talking about? But like deep down, I felt like I was dying, and even got to on a daily basis. So as far as some of my symptoms go, like what was happening with my body physically, I developed eczema around my face, around my eye. That was really awful, extremely itchy, and it burned like a son of a gun. I was never diagnosed with this or with this disease, but I had all the symptoms of fibromyalgia, which, you know, my joints hurt really, really bad. My nerves felt overstimulated all the time. I couldn't handle soft touch without it feeling like I was on fire or it was like buzzing. I couldn't take even really deep pressure that much, because then I would get overstimulated, then my body would just lock up and hurt really, like, even way, like the pain would be way worse than it was before. Just by simple touches would send my body into a storm. So those two things, I would get mouth ulcers down into my throat, and they were painful because you couldn't eat or drink anything, including water, for like a week. And you know, I thought it was all like hormone related because my hormones were way off. So I blamed a lot of these things on my hormones. And I had PMS for like 2 weeks out of the month. It's probably TMI, but even though I was pretty consistent during the months, but my PMS lasted, like the angry, unreasonable monster side lasted for about 2 weeks. And then I had the Aunt Flo for like another week. And so my poor husband is only getting 1 week out of each month having a decent, loving life. So all the rest of the month, I am a hellion. So there's that side of things. My hair was really brittle. It wasn't growing anymore. My eyebrows were so thin. It was barely, I was almost expressionless. People would laugh. It's like, where are my eyebrows? My skin was the biggest one. It was just as gray as you can get. My lips had like a little purple tint to them. You could almost see the veins in my forehead. Like I had to go buy brand new foundation. I had to get the lightest color you could get, like gosh, it was almost so light. It was just had that gray blue tint to it, and so that was the only thing that worked. Or else my other foundation was just way too dark and too splotchy. I know that sounds really vain to talk about, like, oh, my makeup's not working for my face, but it was a hint, or it was a tool that I used to remind me, or to show me that, yeah, there's something wrong. That the melatonin in my skin, there's not a whole lot going on there. I had what my friends would call like dead zombie eyes. So my eyes were just really, really dark, and I would almost get into these just like dead glares, because I was just so tired all the time. I would have to sleep. I'd have to get at least 10 hours of sleep a night, which obviously wasn't sustainable because I also have a life. And I would still wake up feeling really, really tired, and I felt like I had to rest a lot throughout the day, and which is really frustrating as somebody who has a type A personality. It's like I thrive on learning new skills. I thrive on going off on adventures, but when my body's forcing me to have to lay down all the time, it's just like, it destroys you. So my nails were bent, kind of swooped up a little bit, really discolored, lots of grooves. Yeah, recovery after runs, like after a hard run, it would take me like a few days to really recover. So I felt like my training cycles, I was just never recovering. If I had a wound, like if I fell and I cut myself, like the bleeding wouldn't stop. My leg, even if it was just really, really superficial, it wouldn't start like actually closing up for days, and I would just constantly have to rebandage and re-clean, and which scared me too, because it's like, if I really slice myself, I could just be a bad situation. So yeah, so all those things, all of the above, and internally, like my gut hurt. I had like my lower belly was a little bit bloated. My weight was, although my weight's never really fluctuated much, as except for when I did struggle with anorexia back in high school, but more the recent, like I've never been one to lose a lot of weight or gain weight with the vegetarian or veganism. Like I felt like my weight was pretty stagnant. So, but so I didn't have like major weight loss or anything. So that wasn't like part of the symptom or anything. I've always been fairly smallish for my stature. So, but yeah, no, what was going on was that I was dying. I truly felt like I was dying. So I went and did the Moab Trail Marathon race, and like I said, that's another thing too, like my immune system was so shot that I was sick all the time with a cold. Like someone could cough across the city and I would get sick. I would get the flu at least every couple of months, like the head flu, the pounding head flu, which is really awful. And I had a chronic sinus infection that never went away for like a year. So anyway, so I'm going into Moab, and I had just had the flu like 2 weeks prior, and I was just still really, really weak, really, really out of it. But it's like, doggone it, I trained for this dang thing for the last year, and this was my A race. I was so excited for this. I get there, first mile in, I knew something was not right. I was already exhausted. Actually, I don't even remember a lot of it. I do remember people trying to guide me back to the trail a lot, even though I'm still with a group of people. I would go off trail constantly. Like I was just not with it. And I was extremely out of breath, sweating profusely. I do remember that, and wanting to nap on the trail. Like I just wanted, I'm not even 5 miles in, and all I want to do is go take a nap on those warm rocks over there. So yeah, so anyways, I get to mile 17, still extremely out of it, and I start crying at that point, because like I was getting worse and worse throughout that whole race, and I was like, I think I'm dying. Like the hypochondriac side was coming out of me, but also like I truly think I'm dying. I'm done. Like I'm so done. I actually don't ever want to race again. Like if this is going to be my running career, and I'm done. I do not want to be part of this sport. It's too much agony. And so oddly enough, not even 5 minutes later, I slipped, just having no energy, slipped and hit my head on a rock. Yeah, so I slipped and had a concussion, and I was able to manage my way down to the next aid station where they did the mental test on me, and I was at about 50%, and they both made the agreement that I need to be pulled, I need to get to the medic tent. So fast forward to the medic tent. The guys there were like, you visually do not look so great. Like he was kind of like, you are kind of like the Walking Dead a little bit, just really, really off. I had, just that blank stare, and he said, your skin tone just looks like garbage. There's a possibility, if you're so iron deficient, you might want to get a blood transfusion. And I was like, oh, that's a big deal. So they directed me, they said I need to go to urgent care at that point. So we leave and we go to Moab, downtown Moab, to the urgent care and see the doctor there. And fortunately, after all her tests, I was able to get the pass, because I was mentally starting to get back. And I was like, thank goodness, because I am really depressed right now. I need a beer. So I was really glad. But she also was like, one final thing, your skin tone does not look good. And I'm like, yeah, I've been really, really weak. I think I might be really iron deficient. In my head, I'm like, this doesn't make sense because I'm taking the most expensive iron supplement out there. And she's like, you might need a blood transfusion. I'm like, 2 people in a row within 1 hour is saying I need a blood transfusion. And And she's like, actually, this could be a really serious thing. Your body might be in danger right now. And I'm like, oh, I don't have health care for another month. And she's like, well, then go get some red meat and like get rare bloody meat into your body as fast as you can. And I'm just like, posh, I don't do that. But she challenged me. So we leave, fast forward, come back home, and still haven't eaten meat, and still feeling like garbage. I hit the wall at that point. Moab was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I went to the store. I went to this nice little local grocery store and got some really good grass-fed local meat, and barely even seared it and sucked it down. And I swear, within I felt like almost instantly, like the blood circulation came right back. Like I felt like I could feel things like I've never felt before. Felt way re-energized and warm. That was something. Like I felt warm, like a cozy warm, and which, gosh, I don't think I could remember ever feeling like that sensation in a really, really long time. So I decided that I am going to be eating at least one serving of red meat every single day for, I don't know, until the whatever foreseeable future. I didn't have healthcare at the time, and so I'm like, I don't want to do blood transfusion. That sounds horrible and unnatural, but I'm just going to flood my body with as much nutrients as I can using animal products. So that's what I did. November, December, January. So yeah, it's actually been about 2.5 months, and I've been eating red meat every single day, which I'm gonna come to a point where I'm gonna slow down for sure. But I've never felt this alive or vibrant. I feel like I have a little hop, skip in my get along. No, I feel like I haven't had this kind of energy since I was a kid, like in this elongated period. I would get like little energy bursts here and there, but over like a 3-month period, having this kind of endless energy, like I feel like a brand new spanking person who's just excited and thrilled about life. All my symptoms are gone. The eczema, the rash, that's gone. I haven't had any mouth ulcers. I haven't gotten sick, and which I know it's only been 3 months, but when I was getting a cold every 10 days, like I haven't had that at all. I'm really excited. I don't have the nerve issues. My eyebrows are going back. Like, it's just amazing. My acne is gone. A lot of splotchy acne, especially like right in the middle, which I think is, I don't really know a lot of the science behind it, but I've heard, like breakout here, it's, your kidneys, breakout here, your liver is not functioning properly. So that's exactly what I was breaking out. We're in like my vital organ regions. So anyways, flash forward to, today. I'm recovering so well. I just feel like I can do my workouts and recover, and I sleep way better. My insomnia's gone. I wake up after 8 or 9 hours. Well, when I'm in the higher mileage, it's usually on the more side, but I actually feel great after 8 hours, and I'm ready to go. I don't feel like I have to relax all the time to rest my body because my heart rate is constantly spiked. I feel like I'm a different person than I was, but then I'm realizing like, no, this is actually the real me. This is the me I'm supposed to be, and I'm excited to see what I can do now. So, gosh, yeah. I am training for a 50K in Bellingham, the Chuckanut 50K. I'm really, really excited. And training is going so well. So yeah, I have no idea. I think I feel like I'm now starting my running career completely all over. Like, I don't know. I have heard from other ex-vegans, athletes who have said that it's taken them, a few years to really get 100% again. So who knows? Right now I feel so good, but to know the possibility that I'll just keep getting better over the next handful of years really excites me, because I have kind of a 5-year goal to do Badwater. So it might work out perfectly. So yeah, anyways, that's my story. And as far as the ethical side of things go, I actually feel a lot more or a deeper connection with animals now. It sounds really, really weird, but I feel like I have a better understanding of the circle of life. These animals, in order for me to thrive, somebody's gonna have to die. And I know it sounds really morbid, but I think it's actually a really beautiful thing. And the purpose of our places here on Earth, and how it works together we all work together to better each other. And yeah, it's just really neat. I only will support local farm, grass-fed animal products. There's some great local stores here. I get my raw milk and raw cheese, and it's delicious. It's like drinking ice cream. But yeah, it's actually kind of another thing with the irony of being a vegan and wanting to have a small footprint on the planet. It's like, I'm also eating, as a vegan, I'm eating foods from all over the world, lots and lots of tropical fruits, because they're high in calories, because I need something to fill my tummy with, even though it never satisfied me. But the irony, it's like, you're not even eating within your region. It makes no sense. And I'm such a big believer, even right now, where we live in central Washington, I can get all the food I need. Well, I live in apple capital, which is the best place to live. Apples are my favorite food. I can get everything I need. I can get, dairy, all animal products, proteins, my seasonal fruits and vegetables, locally sourced grains. I can get it all here within a 10-mile radius. And that's something that's really, woken me up to as well. And if I could, challenge everybody on this, just really to focus on eating regionally. If you can't within your town, think of within, your state, or within your whole region, Pacific Northwest. Because I understand, city dwellers, it's really hard to, try to find a good farm 2 blocks away when you live in the cement jungle. But if you can, I think, really dedicating yourself and your health to, and as well as it'll also benefit these small family-owned businesses, and it just supports your region, and you have less shipping, less travel to get your food to you. So yeah, so that's something else it's really excited me about. But yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you are an ethical vegan, or you're a vegan because you for religious reasons, hands to you, turn off this video. I don't get it, but that's your thing. It's cool that you're passionate about something. But if you're a vegan because you believe that it's the healthiest diet out there, like I did, I challenge you to do more research and just try different things. as someone who did it for 15 years, I learned that, you know, as my genetic makeup is, you know, German, a little Latvian, Northern European. They are hunter-gatherers. They they just ate off the land. Ancient grains, a lot of tuber vegetables, fruits. No, not really any. There's no coconuts in Germany. So, yeah. Gosh, what was I saying? So yeah, that like that. Obviously, you know, I do think there are some, you know, as far as like genetic makeup goes, I think there are some people who truly can be vegan and they can do it successfully, and I think it has to do with, you know, the flora in their gut and how they're able to absorb certain nutrients and their lineage. You know, if you're South Pacific Islander, Asian cultures, you know, you probably have a better, or there's a higher probability of you being able to live an animal-free diet. But it's, yeah, no. So yeah, I know there's a lot of amazing ultra runners out there who are vegan, and hats off to you. But you know, if your body does start deteriorating, don't blame your age, like I did. Maybe try some different things. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. So yeah, that's where I am now. I'm really excited, and I will do some more videos on this, especially, you know, my journey as I continue to heal. I'm gonna do some like what do I eat in a day type videos and compare. I have a lot of old videos and pictures of my past diet and compared to what I'm eating now as a competitive athlete. And yeah, all right. Happy running, guys.